Okay, unmuted. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy. We are back for a Saturday Live. And it is nice to be back on and have a Saturday Live. It's been a minute. So as you guys are rolling in the door, we will get started on talking about what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot of things I wanted to recap a little bit. Hello, everyone. Okay, so let me say hello to you first. If you're new here, please say hello in the chat. My name is Kathy. I am a registered nurse. I'm a hospice RN case manager. I see hospice patients on a daily basis. I'm a mother of 4 adult children. I am a grandmother of 2, and I just got my dual Greek citizenship. So you might find me in Greece in a while. So anyway, all right, let me see who's here. Hey, Amber E, welcome and hello. Nice to see you. Also, everyone, we did have a members only happy hour last night for the first time in a long time. That is one thing that we used to do all the time on Friday nights. So mark your calendar if you're a member so that you can join us next time. We had a nice little group of people last night. It was really good. We went through some of the Lori Vallow cross examinations on Adam and on Serena Sharp and Nancy Joe. I love Nancy Joe. Be like Nancy Joe. That's my new thing. Be like Nancy Joe on the stand. Serena was a little cowering a little bit. Serena seemed a little intimidated by Lori, or maybe she was just intimidated by the experience. I don't know. Thought it was interesting that Serena never heard of Kate Woodcock. So that's that. All right, let's see. Yeah, you can hear me now. I know. I muted it so you didn't hear me in the background when the music was playing. And then I usually don't do that. And then I forgot that I did that. So I unmuted it. You can hear me now. I hope, please. Happy Saturday, Kathy and everyone joining the live stream. Thank you, Carolina. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hi, Angel Hugs. How are you? And John Jenkins. Yeah, it has been a long time no here. I've been working and all that other stuff. So life has settled down a little bit. I still have my mother living with me. Her dementia is not good, but for now, I have to stay home a lot because I don't have any help. So nobody seems to want to come help me for some reason. Not an only child, but we won't go there right now because it irritates me. And okay. So, Lori Vallow, most of you guys that are here, and hello to the replay crew if you're not watching this with us right now. We love you, and I am going to try to do our Saturday lives on a consistent basis through this trial and maybe find a new case to follow after this because, well, we got a while, Bill, because we have Brandon, and I'm really curious to see Brandon's trial because I think new stuff is going to come out there. And we got Brandon, who's still alive. That's a witness, which will be great. I know a lot of people, it was interesting. I was in a Facebook group and people were like, who is this? What is this? It's so weird to me that there's a lot of people out there that don't know anything about Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell. And I think it's really, there's so much to the story that it is really hard to catch up when it's been 6 years in the making. But I do have a podcast called Afterglow Unveiling the Idaho Cult. And you can get it on any podcast platform. It's also on here, but it doesn't always flow over to here on YouTube is the way it should with the app or the thing I subscribe to. So I need to check on that. But it is, I try to drop an episode as often as I can. I was doing weekly. I am on a little break from that right now just because Lori Vallow Daybell is on trial and I want to keep up with this and I have to kind of balance my time. But Afterglow goes to the beginning of Lori Vallow Daybell when she was Lori Cox and then Lori somebody, Nelson, whatever, husband, and then Lori whoever, LaGoya, and then Lori Ryan, and then Lori Vallow, and now Lori Daybell. Lori has been married 5 times. I'm super interested in knowing about the other two, the first two husbands. Like, I would love to hear. Nobody has talked about Nelson. What was his name? So Nelson, was that his first name or his last name? Nobody has got. I've not seen an interview. I've not seen anybody know or say where he is. But I would love to hear from that guy, because that was like her high school boyfriend and she married him. Didn't last very long. And then Colby's dad. Colby never knew his dad, I guess. Lagoya. What is it? Was it William Lagoya? I'm trying to remember all this stuff off the top of my head. Hi, the grandparents. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Sandra. And I would just love, if anybody sees anything about those two, let me know, because I'm super nosy. As nosy as Lori is when she's cross-examining people on the stand. So, did you know my husband was married? I mean, what a hypocrite. Unbelievable, this woman. The fact that she can get up there as lawyer Lori and poke at Nancy Joe and tell her, did you know you were with a married man? Did you know that I wasn't getting divorced? Did you know? Well, Lori, you already committed to Chad. You already decided that you wanted to be Mrs. Daybell. You were already putting the works together to kill Tammy and clearly your children and Charles. Oh, it's so, I mean, it's unbelievable, right? It's astounding is the right word. I just can't understand how anybody's brain can work like hers. She's so full of narcissistic personality disorder that nobody but her is correct. Nobody but her knows anything about anything. She's the smartest person in the room. Thinks she's the most beautiful person in the room. She wanted to outshine even her own daughter. She did not want Tylee to be prettier than her or skinnier than her. I could just tell by things like the day she was standing against the car, when the cops were there, when her and Tylee came back after Alex shot, and the police were there after Alex shot Charles, and the cop was asking her information, and he's like, "Okay, are you still about 5'6"?" And she's like, "Yes." "And do you still weigh about 120 pounds?" And she's like, "Yes," or whatever she said. And then she looked at Tylee and she's all, "What?" So I'm sure Tylee felt insecure having Lori as a mom. She isn't that great with looks. I agree. I mean, she had a cute figure. She definitely worked out and stuff like that. But she's not drop dead gorgeous by any means. And I think she wanted to be, this blonde, as if she's just something special. Tylee had all the responsibilities and was the mommy. Tylee really did. My heart breaks for Tylee. Poor little JJ probably knew nothing of what was happening. And I can't even try to think of what happened and what Tylee's last moments were like. And I really believe Lori was there. I do believe she was there. And the whole idea that they just like literally tried to make her disappear into tiny pieces is just disgusting. And I'm still super appalled at Chad's kids, Emma especially, and her husband, because they were all over social media in the beginning, sticking up for Chad. And I don't think they've ever turned away from him. Kathy, it's been a couple of years. I ran into you this morning. Yay, yes. Contact Meg and Connor, Lori's niece, and she will tell you who Lori's first two husbands were. Good to see you again. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we know who they were, but does she know anything about them? Has she interviewed them? Have they come forward during all this? Are they hiding somewhere? Right? Nelson and Lagoya. It's a horrible dynamic to be the daughter of a narcissistic mother. Absolutely. I can't imagine. Oh, good point. She probably does, because she grew up with Lori. The story that Megan talks about, that I guess Lori went on a date with a guy. Now, this just shows you who Lori is. When Lori was talking to, with Nancy Joe the other day. This really does. The story Megan, I heard Megan tell a story, and she said that Lori went on a date with some guy when they were younger, and Megan was living with Lori. They were roommates, I guess. Were they at college or something? They were younger. And Lori went on a date with some guy, and Lori didn't like it. And then apparently the guy started talking to Megan, and that pissed Lori off so bad that Lori told her mom, and her mom, who obviously has enabled Lori to be this brat her entire life, when you hear stuff like this, flew into town and made Megan move out. So that's the Lori that sat there and cross-examined Nancy Joe. Like, I don't want him, but you can't have him, right? What about the scissors that Lori gave Alex's wife? Oh, Zalema, the scissors, the expensive hair cutting scissors. Yeah, I would have tested that. I would have tested that. I think Zalema was in on a lot of it. And I also don't, I absolutely 100%, 100, or maybe 99.999% believe that Alex either took his own life because Chad and Lori told him to, or Zalema, they had Zalema do something for him, poison him or something. I don't know how he got the bilateral pulmonary embolisms. I don't know. Whatever he did, he got them. Maybe some kind of medication. I mean, it's a blood clot, right? So you usually get a DVT, a deep vein thrombosis, and it breaks off and travels into your pulmonary system, and then you have shortness of breath, your blood pressure drops, and I've witnessed pulmonary embolism firsthand. My mother had one right in front of me in my house, and I called 911 and got her to the hospital, and she lived, and now here she is. It's like 8 years later. So you can be saved from that. But back when I was first a nurse, that was extremely life-threatening. It still is life-threatening, but they can save more people now. And then usually you're on blood thinners the rest of your life. Eliquis, Coumadin, something like that. So it's just blows my mind how much more there probably is that we'll never know. Like, for example, the scissors Lori gave Alex's wife, Zalema, all this kind of stuff. There's just so much more out there that we'll probably never, ever know. They sure cremated him in record time. They certainly did. They certainly did. They cremated him so fast that, I mean, and Chad's stupid phone call. You guys have all heard Chad's phone call, right? Chad Daybell calling the funeral home, switching up his name real quick because he's not very quick on his feet when it comes to that stuff. And Chad Daybell calling the funeral home to try to get prices for Lori, I guess. Megan Connor was on Surviving the Survivor 2 days ago, and she said she was with Alex when his older sister died. Yes, I remember that. We heard that years ago, that there was a cousin, and we didn't know who it was, and apparently it was Megan. And then remember Alex used his sister's credit cards after she was dead and stuff. Alex and Lori, I don't know, those two. I'm still on my first cup of coffee this morning. I've had this coffee cup for Not My Circus, Not My Monkeys for years to remind myself to stay out of other people's business. and because I caused a whole plane to be delayed one time by getting in someone else's business, which I was a flight attendant at the time, by the way. But anyway, Not My Circus, Not My Monkeys. I love this. And my coffee stays hot for hours. I got it on Amazon somewhere. I don't know. I don't even know if I could ever find it again. Let's see. Kelly Brown. Question. After viewing the police interviews, will the jury be able to ask the judge why Tylee isn't on the stand? I wonder if there are any pretty young ladies in the room that the jury might mistake her for. That is a really good question. At this point, I hate that I know so much. I wish I could be watching this with somebody that knew nothing of the case ever, because I would love to be able to have that perspective. Like, are they starting to think about it? Kay spoke of JJ in the past tense. The entire time when they were talking about JJ, he was, back, past tense, past tense. I don't remember if Tylee's come up very much as far as anybody being able to talk about her in the past tense, but it's got to happen. And the jury would expect her to be a witness for the defense because she was there that day. We saw her in the video. We saw her with Lori. Right, if I'm remembering right. Alex did go down to Mexico for meds before he died. He did. So, there's a lot of stuff in Mexico that's laced with it comes from China and it's laced. And then the pharmacies don't even, in Mexico, even the legit pharmacies will sell it over the counter without a prescription. And he could have got something that it could have been a random weird fluke, but I don't know. Hey, Ruby, you are here. Welcome, welcome to Saturday Live. Great to see you. They are evil twins. They are evil twins. So when I started following this case, I got an email pretty quick off the bat from somebody that was in my lives often. And the email was the zombie email. So I call it the zombie email. And I think back and I made a video that night about it. It was before it hit Reddit. And I really wish I would have gone live because then I could pull that back up. But I did make a video talking about it. And it was so weird to me. All the stuff about zombies in there was the first I ever heard of it. And it was just so bizarre. And then I started getting other emails from people that know Melanie Gibb. And so I was getting all this information, and then that's when my channel just started growing. And then other people started coming and following the case and sort of took over, especially when there's like attorneys following the case that can give you legal opinions and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just one of us. Like, me and you guys are the same. We're probably just regular old people that follow true crime for some reason. And I did see you say that this is you with your other name. I'm glad to know, because I'm like, oh yeah, there you are, Fun to Cruise. But it was just so weird how this case unraveled. Hi, Carrie. And Felony Gibb, I love that. And that it's still going on. But what made me mad back then is I think that this particular trial should have gone. Lori should have been arrested and Alex should have been arrested for killing Charles in July of 2019. The thought of the fact when I watched those interviews of them taking them down to the police station and letting them go that day and no other follow-up, I don't know what Chandler police was thinking. I mean, it's just so weird to me. Hi, Janet. So it's just really, really, really crazy. Who do you think, does anybody have any idea who the witnesses are going to be this week? Monday, coming back on Monday? We've seen a lot of people. We've seen a lot of people already. And someone said this trial was supposed to last 5 weeks or something. I don't think so. Yes, Chandler police, that was very disappointing. I think that there should have been a way deeper investigation. So you could just have literally no evidence that somebody came at you in self-defense. And then just the fact if they would have went back and looked at Charles's previous, help me, my wife has lost her mind, she's telling people she's gonna kill me. None of that came up back then. Like, Charles was there talking to this police department more than once about his wife and saying she was going to kill him and that he's Ned Schneider. I don't know who Ned is. I'm not LDS. You know, that cop. That cop makes me mad. A lot of them make me mad. Nate posted the witness the beginning of his show last night. The witness list. Okay. I didn't see his show last night, so I don't know who's on it, but I'm curious to see who else is going to come. I hope that, yes, the email evidence. There's so much that, but do you guys think that somehow Lori's going to open the door? I was listening to, who was I listening to last night? I don't remember, Court TV or something. And they were talking about the fact that the witnesses have to be really careful not to open the door because that could cause a mistrial. So the only one that can really open the door and allow this to come in without it causing a mistrial would be Lori. So everybody has to really tiptoe around the fact that she is a convicted murderer of 3 other people. So I think that's hard, and the witnesses can't slip up. And that's why they're like, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But I do think, I find it really crazy if you really think about it, and you were on that jury right now. You were on the jury right now, and you're hearing all this stuff. And now you know that it's hit the news media before, but months later, and the woman that went on a date with them saw something on the news months later, wouldn't you be like, okay, there's something else going on here? There's something else. I don't know if they would be able to pinpoint it at this point, but to know that, Nancy Jo was like, well, I saw him on, like, would she say the stuff about you? And then when she said you saw Brandon Boudreaux, and she's like, yeah, I know the story. My daughter knows the story. So they got to be kind of going, what? There's something missing. There's something we don't know. Yeah. I'd be looking for Tylee because she's a family member, or I'd literally be expecting her to come up as a witness at some point. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's it, chilling. But how are all the evidence coming from another town and state? Yes, because she said when Serena Sharp was on the stand yesterday or Thursday, she said, okay, so you were interviewed by the police for how long? How many minutes? How long did you talk about me? And then she said the first time they came to her house, and she thought maybe it was just a few minutes, but maybe it was longer. And then she said, but the second time she met with them, she went to the police station and she met with 2 officers from Idaho. So if I knew nothing, I'd be like, Idaho? What? Right? So I really do think that their wheels are going to start turning if they aren't already. Like, something else is up. Something else is up. Let's see what else, you guys. Gayla, whether Alex admitted to shooting Charles or not, he should have been detained and searched immediately. Exactly, because how long? You can detain somebody for like 48 hours without charging them. Like, they said they did a whole investigation at the house. The cops were there all day, right? I heard something. I might have to go check on my mother in a minute. Let's see if those noises continue. Is a cat in here or just the dog? Nope, the cat's in here, so it has to be my mother making noise. Okay, I'm gonna find out what's going on. Let's just see. Let's see. I was waiting for you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. She almost let the cat out of the bag several times. I was just waiting for someone to blurt it out. I know. Okay. Yes. gunshot residue. I still wouldn't be surprised. Like, okay, I'm telling you, in my head, I picture this. Let me just say, and I don't know why, but I picture Alex shooting Charles, and then he falls to the floor. And the expert witness said they can take several minutes to die when they're shot in their heart. They can still be talking. They can still be breathing. I can totally picture Lori either saying, shoot him again, or getting the gun and shooting him when he's on the floor herself. There was just more to that. Because they shot him on the floor. So he was probably dying, but he didn't just, like on TV, die with the first gunshot. And they kind of freaked out. They definitely did, Carrie. They really did. Huh. Sorry, you guys, I'm hearing things. I just heard music coming from far away, but it's Coachella, but I don't know, the gates open at 1 or something. I don't know what time. Okay. Yeah. If the police would have run a background check on Alex, that would have been probably smart. Probably smart. And Kayla, the real reason is why was Alex there to begin with? We already know why. Right, because it was planned. You don't bring guns and extra magazines and stuff. I'm really surprised Alex was allowed to own guns after he did that too. But whatever. It's just bizarre to me. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to go check on the old lady because I hear something. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, be right back. I'll be right back. Okay, she's fine. She made toast. I just heard all these noises out there and I thought, oh God, is she on the floor again? Yesterday morning, I had to pick her up off the floor. A couple of weeks ago, we had to get paramedics out here to get her off the floor. She doesn't fall like boom. She gets out of a recliner and she slips down like her legs are weak and she won't use her walker. So, but she's using her walker right now. I was like, impressive. Because I basically scolded her like a mother to a child the other day about using it. So maybe she's going to listen finally. I don't know. But anyway, okay. Sorry, I got sidetracked here. The medical examiner, the Department of Public Safety, Office of Inspector General, Banner Life Insurance, and 5 Chandler Police are the remaining witnesses. So the medical examiner, the Department of Public Safety, Office of Inspector General, Banner Life Insurance, and 5 Chandler Police are. Okay, so the big ones, people we know, the friends and all those are all done, huh? I love Nancy Jo. I could watch her a million times over. Nancy, we need merch. Don't flatter yourself and be like Nancy Jo on the other side or something. I should make something. I love it. Wonder if anybody would buy it. Police do not make inquiries on all individuals during an incident. Police agencies across the area state need to share information on the safety system. Finally, Salt Lake. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I can see how, before I started following true crime, I really thought things got solved just easy peasy. More, things that are so obvious like this would have been solved. It just blows my mind that people can get away with this stuff. Like my best friend, her husband killed her and he got away with it. Everybody decided it was suicide and that was it. No investigation. Oh, my left-handed friend shot herself in the head on the right side when she was in the middle of leaving her husband to come back to California because he was abusive. And no investigation, nothing. Half an hour, 45 minutes. Yep. Oh, yeah, she was acting crazy. Her husband says she was all depressed. She was doing this, that, and the other thing. And that was it. Case closed. Boom. Shot herself in the right side of her head with a gun when she was the nicest person ever, never had any kind of issues in her life, and was leaving her husband for the second time because the year before she left him and he made her come back. And that was it. He's got married 5 minutes later to the lady he was having an affair with. The end. No problem. You just kill people. It's okay. Nobody's going to check. Like, that was the one. That's when I sort of started getting into true crime, was when because I wanted to learn more about this. And when my friend, it was 2015, April 2nd? Beginning of 2015, probably was April 2nd. And I got a call and I was in Texas and I was in a training and my friends and my daughter were calling me, like blowing up my phone that my friend Pam was dead. Pam was my matron of honor in my wedding. I've known her since I was 16 and she was shot in the head and everybody just believed her husband. Okay. Oh yeah. I went golfing after work, but she was acting crazy. Okay. You were golfing. I talked to the detective, I talked to the coroner's office, and everybody was like, And this was in Houston area of Texas. So, okay, back on chat. Back on the, but so my point is, like, people get away with this crap and it's amazing to me. Unbelievable. Spread statewide. Yeah, the Chris Watts case. Yep. I've been following true crime since I was 12. It began with Night Gallery. I got into true crime when I was a kid on my long car ride to Florida. My older cousin brought some kind of magazine newspaper about all the nurses being found dead. Was it up in Chicago? When was that? Okay. Do you guys want to watch any of the Lori cross-examining any of the witnesses? Last night we watched Nancy Joe and in the 60s. Okay. I was born in the 60s, so I don't think I remember that. I'm a police officer. So you got some experience with all this stuff. My brother-in-law is a police officer too. My sister's husband. Okay, what do you want to watch? Ruby, Gayla, who do you want to watch? We'll share screen and play one of the witnesses. You guys pick. I'll let you pick who you want to see. You want to watch Nancy Joe? You want to watch Kay? The first mass murder, Richard Speck. Oh. Gayla, that's right. Gayla is an expert on this stuff for sure. She's been giving us a lot of great information over the years here. Yeah. Anyone? You're good with anyone? Kay, I missed Kay. Okay, let's watch Kay. Well, we're not gonna watch the prosecutor because the prosecutor does a fabulous job. She does a really good job. We know she knows her stuff, but let's watch Lori cross-examine Kay. Let me get her up here. Okay, YouTube. Okay, let me find the right one so I don't use another person's channel. Let me see if this is it. No, this is Nancy Joe. Already got her. Or we can do her, but I'm going to do Kay. Where is she? Trying to find the court TV. Okay, I think I found one. I'm just going to get. I love it. Kay says, oh boy. Oh. But she does. It is interesting because she talks about JJ in there in her past tense. Oh gosh, there's not. This is just the prosecutor. There's not Lori on this. Where's the cross? Okay, this one doesn't have the cross examination. Sorry. Yesterday everything came up. Now there's like all these other YouTube channels and stuff. No. Let me just put something different in the search. I keep seeing everybody but Kay. Okay. Okay, let me just put in court TV. There's Don't Flatter Yourself. There's Adam. Okay. Okay, it should be here. I think I got it. All right, I'm having. Here she goes. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Pause. Here she comes. Okay, I got it. Only took me half an hour. Sorry. Let's see. Share screen. And here you go. Here comes Lori. Just go back 1 second.
Is this why you wanted JJ to come to Charles's service?
No, I had already gotten the okay from her to come get him. I was going to fly here, pick him up, go back to Louisiana, keep him for a week and attend this, so he could attend the service during that time. And when she found out when she found the change of beneficiary form, she said that she was too busy. They were moving to Hawaii, and it would be too confusing for JJ to come, and he needed to be with her.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service, his
Yes.
dad's service. After this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, did that pretty much end most of the contact you had with Lori, other than you reaching out to talk with JJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, cross.
Thank you, Christian. Appreciate that. Did you hear her say, oh boy? Oh.
Ms. Woodcock, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay, here, let me go back just a second so you can hear the oh boy, because that's awesome. 1 second, I'll let you see the oh boy. Right, it's right there.
He could attend the service during that time.
It's right here.
And when she found out when she found the change of beneficiary form, she said that she was too busy. They were moving to Hawaii, and it would be too confusing for JJ to come, and he needed to be with her.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service, his
Yes.
dad's service. After this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance policy,
It's right after this.
pretty much end most of the contact you had with Lori, other than you reaching out to talk with JJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, cross.
Do you hear it? Oh boy, right before she takes a sip of water. Colby says the enchiladas were not even that good. They were just enchiladas with green sauce. Like, he said his enchiladas are better than hers.
Ms. Woodcock, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Were you aware at all of the relationship between Charles and Tylee?
It was, let's say, it was a bit contemptuous. It seemed like there was always a lot of drama going on, and so that's all I knew. He didn't say too much about it, and I didn't pry.
But But you knew that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for
I
a
can't
while.
hear you.
I'm sorry. You did know that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And you weren't really aware of the events that happened that morning, were you?
The morning of
July.
My only thing, thinking why she's trying to make a big deal, because she keeps bringing this up about how terrible the relationship is between Charles and Tylee. I think for some reason she wants to, because she started remember, the whole Dateline thing, she was trying to blame Tylee for stuff, and they'd cut it all out and they didn't let it go. You know, for some reason, you know how they said Tylee brought the bat out to protect her, blah, 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 blah. He's like, she tried to protect me, did her fake tears and stuff. I want to say that maybe she's trying to say that Tylee is the one that shot Charles, but everybody covered for poor Tylee because she was a child or something. Like there's some reason she's trying to make this big deal out of Tylee and Charles. And she's brought it up so many times. All right, I will continue because it's bugging me really bad when you ask that. That's what I mean. Why is this such a big deal, Lori? Yes, she told Colby Tylee murdered JJ and then killed herself. So she's trying to make Tylee the bad guy in all of this. And so I'm just trying to think, since she tried to make Tylee the bad guy in killing JJ, then is she trying to make Tylee the bad guy in killing Charles? Nate zoomed with, I saw that reason he isn't there, but will be soon as they're moving back to their remodeled house with their two granddaughters that live with them, 19 and 12. Done. I know, it's awful. Why are they raising those poor people? Oh my gosh, why are they I mean, I'm sure they're wonderful people, but dude, I cannot raise another kid in my life, and they're older than me, so. Especially teenagers and stuff. Yeah, he did. He said he was very proud of Kay. Okay, here we go.
His murder?
Of July 11th.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because you didn't tell me.
Ms. Woodcock, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
Just briefly. You were asked about the relationship between your brother and Tylee. How old was Tylee when Lori and Charles got married?
She was 3, or right around 3.
So was Charles in her life for most of her memorable years?
Exactly. Yes, he was.
And how old was she in July of 2019?
She was 16. Yeah,
So teenager.
Yes.
In terms of their relationship, are you saying that Charles and Tylee never had good times?
Oh, I'm not saying that. I saw them have good times, and it wasn't, it wasn't that they couldn't look at each other, or, it wasn't like that. But I mean, yeah, a teenage girl on one is hard anyway. But I do know that there was a lot of issues with her dad and Lori with her ex-husband and custody, and it was a mess. It was a mess.
So Tylee had a lot going on in her life.
Yes.
And Joe Ryan was only, I still have murdered in my head with him. He only passed away in 2018. This has not been very long at all for Tylee with everything she's gone through. And Lori's just a horrible mother. The end. Here we go.
Yes, she did.
And You would see her and Charles at times have difficulty getting along.
I never really saw anything that sticks out in my mind. But I just know he'd tell me how it was just difficult. And it, as a step parent, it can be very difficult. I can attest to that.
So on July 11th, when Charles Vallow was killed, did you actually have any idea that your brother was dead?
None at all. How would I know?
So in terms of you learning that your brother was dead, it was never from Lori Vallow.
Or from her.
It was.
It was from Google that my husband found.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Are there any questions for this witness from anyone on the jury? I don't see any questions. You could step down now.
Thank you.
Done.
So, that Lori, I thought Lori would try to go more toe to toe with Kay. I really did. But as Larry said in his interview, Lori knows that Kay knows everything. Everything. They are Kresh's two daughters. Oh, Kresh's fiance, Jason, struggles with many health issues. In my opinion, Kresha has her hands full being his caregiver. That's based on my opinion. Okay. Oh, well, they're very kind and generous people, Kay and Larry. Very kind and generous, because just taking care of my mother, I can't imagine raising a child again or a teenager. So they are 10 million times above me. Although, I am an all day long, everyday caregiver. So it takes a lot out of you, right? I deal with death and dying on a daily basis, and people sick and family members freaking out. And I think every bit of my energy is spent to where I couldn't wrap my mind around that right now. But yeah, Larry isn't young. I mean, they're wonderful people. I've met them in person. They are fantastic people. And they are angels on earth for sure. All right, great. The grandparents. Okay, so I believe Lori is representing herself because she's bored, right? Get out of her cell. She wants the attention. She wants to be on stage. She thinks everything's about her, clearly. I mean, the way she talks about to Nancy Joe about, so you spent all night at dinner talking about me? Lots of things about, and then Lori hears wife instead of life. When Nancy Joe says, she's like, what do you talk about? We talked about this, that, we talked about life. Lori's like, Lori heard wife. And then Nancy Joe didn't correct her when she came back around and said, so you said you spent a lot of time talking about his wife. All right. Yeah, for sure. Ruby, you said you didn't see Nancy Joe. Is anybody, you guys want me to play Nancy Joe again? I know we played her last night in the members only, but we didn't. Did we? I don't remember if we paid her. Oh, Shirley, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. 5 left undone memberships. Very appreciative. So you guys that are getting these memberships, don't forget Friday night. We do Friday Night Live, members only live stream, happy hour. So bring something to drink, water, wine, whiskey, whatever, and we'll sit around and talk about this week coming up. So it'll be next Friday. Thank you very much. Okay. Ruby said she didn't see Nancy Joe. So if you haven't seen it or you want to watch it again, stick around. Let's play Nancy Joe. Let me get her up here. let's see. Nancy Joe. Nancy Joe is the star of the show. That's my opinion. Lori. Nancy. I'll make sure I got the whole thing. So that's commercial. I want to make sure. So make sure I got the right one. Okay, here we go. Let me go back to the beginning. All right, let me share my screen. Nancy Joe is my favorite. Absolute favorite. Mic drop, Nancy Joe. She did great. But like we were saying last night, Leighton pointed out, it's like, can you imagine going on one date with one guy that you just met and now you're testifying at his murder trial? Like, can you wrap your mind around that? Holy moly. I can't. Like, can you imagine? She thought he was a nice guy and then she thought he ghosted her. And then months later, hint, hint, jury, months later, she saw this on the news. Hope the jury's wheels are turning. Okay. Share this and we'll watch Nancy Joe do her thing. I think she really fell for Charles too. I think she really thought he was a great guy.
Nancy Joe, right?
Correct.
And we have not met before,
We
correct?
have not.
Okay. And you stated that your husband, or my husband, told you that he was going through a divorce. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did you have any way to verify that?
No, I didn't try to verify that.
Okay. So did it surprise you later to find out that we were not in the process of a divorce?
Charles was in the process of a divorce.
He was not in the process of a divorce. Did it surprise you to find that out?
Okay, that's point one. I think we should keep score. Point one, Nancy. Nancy 1, Lori 0. I should ask her, but I'm sure the whole world's going to ask her. But I should. I just like, all these people start going on court TV and everything, and I guess I'm like, who wants to come on Left Undone? I don't know. All right. What? Score 1, Nancy. 0, Lori. Let's go.
You've seen it all on TV where we're not getting divorced.
Okay.
Again, jury. You've seen it all on TV. Why would the jury see it all on TV? Wheels, please have your wheels turning. And I love Nancy's just like, okay.
So on the website that you met him, did he say he was divorced?
I'm not certain.
Would you have gone on a date with him if he would have said he was married?
If I would have realized how married he still was, maybe not. But I just met for dinner.
My camera battery's going to die, so I'm going to stop it for a minute while this plays so I can change the camera battery because it's ready to die right now. But just watch.
I wasn't sleeping with him or anything.
Do you go on dates with married men?
I'm going to
Not
object
naturally?
argumentative. I'm going to also object under 611 for harassment.
All right. I'll sustain the objection.
Your Honor, do I not have a right to cross-examine this witness for what she has already testified to?
You can cross-examine her about what she's testified to.
So you did go on a date with a married man,
I went on a date with Charles.
but you did not know he was married.
I knew his divorce was not final.
His divorce was not started.
Okay.
Okay. So in your text messages, you asked Charles if he was a good kisser. Is that correct?
Maybe, sure.
Did he answer that text message?
I'm
gonna
sure.
object to
I'm sure he did.
relevance. Again, 611, harassment.
I'll sustain the objection for relevance and hearsay.
So are you trying to tell me and this jury that you went on one date with my husband and he told you all the details of our lives?
I'm telling you the truth, and that's what I know.
So you spent your whole date getting to know each other, talking about me.
Don't flatter yourself. No, we did not spend the whole time talking about you.
You knew a lot about me, right?
I knew what I've testified to.
What else did you talk about on your date?
Lots of things.
Like what, for instance?
Life, kids, the church, lots of things.
Okay.
See, she says life.
Did he tell you about anything about our other 4 children?
Yes.
She says life, kids, the church. And Lori hears wife because she comes back around to that. Was it Kay who later brought up Charles' divorce papers? In any case, it proved Charles at one time in 2019 had to, yes. Good point. Miss Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire on the lawyer Lori.
So you knew that we did have 5 children as well?
I did.
Okay. Did he talk to you about my daughter Tylee?
He did.
Did he talk about his relationship with her?
Well, I don't recall that.
Did he talk about the contention in his relationship with my daughter Tylee?
I don't recall that.
I'm sure you don't.
Now I'm going to object to comments by the defendant made after questions, testifying.
I'll sustain the objection.
On your date,
I'm sure you don't. She's such a bitch. Like, she's just such a bi. Oh my gosh. But I still give more points. I got lots of points given to Nancy at this point because Lori is just acting like this jealous fool. And everybody knows that she is Mrs. Daybell. They're calling her Mrs. Daybell in this whole thing. Like, her jealousy is just so apparent. And does she not even realize it? How stupid she looks? Yes, her jealousy was seen, felt through the courtroom, and all over the internet. Nancy Jo was a very good pick for Charles. Yes, definitely. That was divine intervention, having him go on a date with this woman, because this is what comes full circle to make Lori look like a damn fool that she is. She is trying to put blame on, right? Because she does this to everyone. She's like, did you hear about the relationship with Tylee and Charles? Did you know about that? Did he tell you about how terrible that relationship was? And this is Charles is the victim here. So what is she trying to do? I know, she is cool, huh? Can you imagine what the men on the jury are thinking as Lori castigates Nancy Jo for a date when it comes out Lori was having an affair at the time? I love that part. Love, love, love. Yeah, the jealousy is one thing, but knowing the hypocrisy is absolutely you're right. Unbelievable.
you talked about my husband was a life insurance salesman. Is that correct?
I knew he did something with money and insurance, but I really didn't know the details of what he did for work. Like I said, I don't ask the details about what someone does for work when I'm trying to get to know someone.
But you knew that he sold life insurance. You stated that.
I believe that I had a vague understanding that he did something with insurance.
And then he brought that up again at dinner.
No, we didn't talk about his work at dinner.
I thought you said you did talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you did talk about that he changed the life insurance policy at dinner.
Well, you were asking me if we talked about that he sold insurance, which that didn't happen. But yes, he did tell me that he changed the beneficiary of his life insurance policy at dinner.
Did he tell you how much his life insurance policy was for?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
$1 million.
Did he tell you how much my life insurance policy was for?
I do not recall.
You don't recall?
We didn't talk about you very much in that vein.
When did you talk to him about me very much then? If it wasn't at dinner, was it in your text messages?
We were talking about what he was going through in the process of separating from you, not about what your life insurance policy was worth. And we talked about you on the phone and
I mean, what is this? She's trying to prove that she's more valuable than Charles because she has a $2 million life. And he didn't tell you about my life insurance policy. Look how much more important I am. I have a $2 million and he's only worth a measly $1 million. You know, what is her point? Oh my goodness gracious. I can't with her. I just can't sometimes.
when I say you, meaning what he was doing as he was going through this separation.
So let me understand. You were dating some different men on this website, right? From the websites.
Sure.
Would you say it was common for men to be talking so much about their supposed ex-wives during their conversations with a potential?
It's actually very common.
Really?
Really.
Interesting.
And again, Your Honor, I'm
All right.
going to object to the defendant making comments after her.
I like, and this is a good technique. I've heard of people doing this before when you mirror the person. So when Nancy Jo's doing that, she's like mirroring Lori. Lori says, really? It's just really, do you notice that? It's an intimidation thing and it works.
Her questions. and
I'm
then
sorry,
just
Your
strike-
Honor. I won't do that again.
All right, please stop.
I'll just ask the questions.
Thank you.
So there were some text messages between you and my husband after the dinner on July 10th. Is that correct?
Correct.
What time would those text messages have occurred?
After dinner,
What time?
10:45-ish.
10:45 to what?
I'm not certain, ma'am. After dinner.
10:45 to midnight, maybe?
I just told you I don't know. Maybe.
What did you discuss in those text messages?
And I'm going to object to relevance again. If there's a specific area.
Sustained.
You testified a minute ago that Charles told you a lot of things about his wife. You didn't say ex-wife, but you said wife. Is that correct?
Okay, sure.
What were a lot of things?
The things that I've testified to.
Can you be more specific?
Am I allowed to do a narrative then?
Let's go on sidebar.
Is there more? How come this is running out? Do I have to go find another part? Hold on. I guess I do. All right. I hate
What's up,
this.
everybody? Welcome back
Hold on.
into
Sorry. Whoop. Now I gotta find the rest. Hi, Crystal. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. Welcome to Left Undone. Let me go find the rest of Nancy Jo. Hold on. I like that they have these little ones that are broken up by people, but then they do like a break and then bring the rest back on another stream. Okay, let's see. I think I found it. Okay. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. I like to use the original stream that was streaming it so I don't get copyrighted, but Nate's been great about not copyrighting me, but I like to go like Court TV was the one that had the stream and they were sharing it with everybody else in case there's some commentary or ads or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I keep trying to find it on the original stream. But they have all put it out broken up, so I guess it really doesn't matter at this point. All right, here they come back. Yes, you were gifted a membership. We've had Shirley has gifted some, and Christian gifted some today, so it's nice. So don't forget to join us at happy hour on Friday night. Members only happy hour. Okay, here we go. Lori continues.
Miss Hancock, you said that you had seen on TV that my husband had passed away. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you indicated after that that you saw my sister-in-law, Kay Woodcock, on that show and you reached out to her. Is that correct?
I didn't indicate that, but that is correct. I reached out to Kay after I saw that Charles had died.
Okay. And did you do that through Facebook or
I did.
social media? Okay. How many times between that first contact and now have you and Kay Woodcock communicated?
I've spoken to her just once. I've texted her here and there regarding, I've texted her here and there about other things. I don't know what I can say.
Okay. How many times have you texted her?
I have no idea.
Like more than 10?
Maybe.
Okay. Have you ever turned over those communications to the state?
No.
Did they ask you for them?
No.
Okay. Did you ever turn over the text conversations you had with my husband to the state?
I was never asked, but I understand that they retrieved them via having them through Charles' phone.
Okay.
I would have had I been asked.
Okay. Did you turn over any other communications that you had with anyone else regarding this case to the state?
I don't believe I've had any other regarding this case to turn over to anybody, so no.
Okay. How many times have you spoken to this prosecutor?
To Ms. Kay,
Yes, to Miss Kay.
I met with her once in person and one other phone call, and then just text messages about the logistics of being here today.
Okay. How many text messages would you say?
I have no idea.
More than 10?
I know court was running behind, so she had to text me to come at a different time, probably counting yesterday and today to redo the time, more than 10, yes. Prior than that, probably no.
Okay. Did you have a meeting with her to prepare for this testimony?
I met with her once,
How long was that meeting?
an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Was anyone else there?
No.
Have you ever spoken to my brother, Adam?
Yes, but only because I ran into him at my grandson's pickleball tournament the other day.
And how did you know that was him?
Because I've seen him on media via the situation surrounding you.
So you initiated a conversation with him?
See, like the jury has to be, I know I keep saying this, but the jury has to be going, wait, what? I know him because on media, because of the situation surrounding you. Okay, are they talking about this situation? But because there seems like there's more going on in the background that we aren't privy to. Nancy Jo's beauty comes from within, unlike Lori. All of her inner wickedness totally shows in her outward appearance. Absolutely. For sure. For sure. For sure. Absolutely.
I just said hi, and that was, he asked me who my grandson was, and I pointed it out, and that was the end of it.
So you introduced yourself to him? To my brother?
I don't know that I introduced myself, but maybe.
How would he know who you were?
I don't know that he knew who I was. I knew who he was.
So you went up and talked to him?
I did talk with him, yes.
He didn't call you over, so you went up and talked to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you were talking to him, you told him you were who?
I told him that my name was Nancy Jo Hancock.
And did he recognize that name from something?
Can I go back and change how I met your brother? I forgot this until right now. So,
I think in the Elena Hot and Heavy Chad's book, Lori had to teach Chad a few things. Kissing was probably one of them. I wonder if you ever got it right.
so on a dating app, your brother's picture came up on my dating app. And I sent him a message and said, but he had a different name that he used, not Adam. And so I just sent him a message and said if he was going to use someone else's pictures, he should probably pick someone different than Adam Cox. That's how I met him.
That's how you met my brother, Adam?
Correct.
Do you know what perjury is?
Absolutely.
I object, Your Honor, to
That's a question.
argumentative harassment.
Argumentative.
Okay, so why does she throw that out there right there? I'm still confused on why she's like, do you know what perjury is? Okay, that's how you met my brother Adam? Do you know what perjury is? Why? What is that? Because she changed her story. So Lori, Miss Lawyer Lori, and all of her legal knowledge thinks that's considered perjury because you forgot a part and you had to change it. Yeah, that would be with her court people, like her advisory council. Yeah. Yeah, perjury.
Are taxes still on your to-do list? Get them done for you. We'll match you with the right tax expert.
How long was this conversation that you had with my brother at the pickleball tournament?
A couple of minutes, maybe less.
And how many times had you communicated with him before that?
Only that message on that dating app. Besides that,
One message, one time?
I don't remember. I think he messaged me back, and it didn't continue.
So just the one day then? Maybe several messages in one day?
I might have sent him one other message, but it was just one interaction, and there was nothing further.
Do you even think this has anything to do with anything? Like, what is Lori trying to get at? She wants to know how often Nancy Joes talk to people that she's related to and her husband. Like, how is she defending herself or trying to prove reasonable doubt by any of these questions? That's my big question of the day. I have not seen that. When was that? I'll have to look for it. I didn't see that. I'll look for it.
And you did not schedule a date with him?
I did not.
Okay. Have you ever spoken to Brandon Boudreau?
Yes.
Okay, when?
He attends the same church that my daughter does, and he happened to be at their house briefly, and I didn't really speak to him. I just knew that that's who he was.
And how did you know who he was?
Because my daughter told me.
And who did she say he was?
Brandon Boudreau.
In relation to me?
She knows the story, and I know the story, so she just had to tell me that his name was Brandon Boudreau.
That he was married to my niece? Is that the information that you had?
I know that he was married to your niece, yes.
Okay. Just the association is all I was asking. And you did speak to him that time?
Well, I don't believe I spoke with him.
Okay. But you met him? Or
I don't know that I even met him. I was there, he was there with some other people, and I knew that that's who that was.
So you didn't introduce yourself to him?
I did not.
Okay. Did you speak to any other law enforcement besides Miss K? Not that she's law enforcement, but did you speak to any other law enforcement about this case or be interviewed?
Yes.
Who? Who did you speak with?
Detective Moffat is who interviewed me. I believe that's, I might have left a message for him. I couldn't tell you who with, but the only one that I spoke to was Detective Moffat, Nathan Moffat.
And when was that interview?
In 2020, I believe in April. A long time ago.
Okay. How long was that interview about?
It was a telephone interview, and it lasted 45 minutes, I'd say.
Is that the only law enforcement that you spoke to besides the prosecutor?
Yes.
And how long between that interview with Detective Moffat and your first communications with Ms. K, how much time passed in between there?
With Trina K?
Correct.
I met with her just a month ago, 5 weeks ago, and I gave an interview in 2020, so.
Is that the first communication you had with Ms. K was 5 weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Hancock, were you aware at the time of your date that I did not know that my husband was on dating websites and dating women?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Were you informed by him that I knew of the situation of us being separated?
He was under the impression you were having an affair, so him moving on was a natural effect from that.
He told you that?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Just to recap,
I love that Nancy pointed that out. Thank you, Nancy, for pointing out that Charles told her that Lori was having an affair with Chad Daybell. Like, come on. The jury's probably shaking their head in confusion about right now. Totally. They're like, what? What's happening here? Is this like Days of Our Lives soap opera? Are we being punked here to be on in this jury? Like, I would be thinking there's something weird here. Really weird. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. I hope they do. I really do hope they show that. Probably because there's still a lot of police officers that are going to be taking the stand, it looks like. Glamis Girl, earlier someone on here, I forget who it was, posted what the rest of the witnesses are, and there's a bunch of police officers still. I should have made a copy of that, but yeah, I think like the personal witnesses are done, but there's still like 4 or 5 police officers and the medical examiner still to come. So I think some of those videos, in my opinion, since those police officers are on there, I think those police officers that were in the body cam, it's got to be those police officers that are going to come take the stand, right? That's my guess. You're right. Spinning like in The Exorcist. I saw Tammy Aunt Vicky showing a Lori doll Facebook meme of a raging Lori doll. Oh my God, so funny.
you said that you met my husband Charles, on July 3rd. Is that correct?
Approximately. Did you ever take a day?
And you went on a date with him on July 10th.
Correct.
So that was what, 7 days later?
Approximately.
So would it be fair to say that you knew my husband for a week?
Approximately.
Okay. And then you had no contact with Charles after that, correct?
Well, he was dead, so clearly I didn't have contact with him.
Okay. And it wasn't until you saw that he had passed away on the news that you reached out to anyone, is that correct?
Correct. I didn't know he was dead.
And that was about 6 months later, is that correct?
I believe it was December, so July to December is 5 months, I believe.
Okay. And then you found Charles' sister, Kay Woodcock, my sister-in-law, yes?
Objection asked and answered.
I'm just going over the timeline, Your Honor.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
So when is the then you're referring to?
So at the 5 months later that you said in December, after that is when you contacted Kay Woodcock?
To express my condolences for her brother passing away, and wanted to let her know that I had had dinner with him that last night and how much he loved JJ and how excited he was to see him the next morning. And just
Thank you, that's enough.
Did you see how fast she cut her off right there? Thank you. That's enough. Thank you. That's enough. Like as soon as God forbid you make Charles look like a good guy, lady. I'm done with that part. That's enough. That is funny, Ruby, about her like in like the Lion King, because it's true. Wait. There's still a handful of people who knew about Charles Lori's separation, and as round 5 expert witness, I think one of them is their old landlord. Oh yeah, that guy. He's the one that made Lori move out after all that, and that was the one that Charles was supposed to meet with to look at houses or something, right? Or somewhere in there. She's just right. That's enough, right? Well, but not for me, Lori. I have something else I'd like to say. But Lori, something freaked her out right there with that. Something freaked her out.
I'm just recapping here, and you contacted her through Facebook, is that correct?
And again, asked and answered.
I don't think that was actually asked yet. Overruled, go ahead.
Yes, as I said before, I contacted her through Facebook.
Okay. And then sent a few text messages, is that correct?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
This is recap of everything we've already gone through.
And then you said you met with police on April 22nd, 2020, is that correct?
I didn't say April 22nd. I said I believed it was sometime in April.
Okay,
And I didn't meet with them. It was a telephone interview.
okay. And that was around 1 year after my husband passed away, is that correct?
Well, July to April would be 10 months, so.
No more questions, Your Honor?
All right, redirect.
Thank you.
So now we got to go and clear up everything. I love the redirects because like whatever lies Lori told get cleared up in the redirects, right? Whatever nonsense she tried to put out there. All right, here we go.
Did you reach out to the police?
You might know Harbor Freight for affordability. What you might not know, performance and dirt.
Ma'am, before you have a seat, I'll swear you in if you raise your right.
I got all these little clips. They're just clips and then they cut off. But we got the point. Lori's a dumbass. The end. I don't know. But I think it's going to be really interesting next week because if there's the police officers with the body cam of when Charles was asking for help and Lori telling all her nonsense or, I wonder if they'll bring in that police interview where Lori, maybe not though, because it didn't really help because they were like, oh, I don't think you're crazy. That one probably won't come in. But I do think they should, and I hope they do, bring in Charles. Charles going, my wife's calling me Ned Schneider. My wife disappeared. My wife is going to kill me. Hello, anybody want to help me? So all that needs to come out. And I think it will. Don't you? I think it will. So Lori's going to go back to Idaho in a few months and she's going to settle into her pod and teach her aerobics and cry and pray and become the woman's advocate of the Idaho prison and think she's doing all these good things and that this is her calling and she is still the goddess of goddesses. That's what Lori's going to do. Right now, she's on TV. She gets out of her cell. She gets attention. She gets to find out what people are talking about her. She gets to try to make people think that Tylee's to blame. She's just Lori. These police officers at the time didn't know Lori was at the house at the time this happened. That's true too. But the interviews that I'm talking about with Charles were in January when he was trying to get her help. And then her whole family was protecting her. And the police were like, you're so pretty. I don't think you're crazy. Don't answer the door. That nonsense that went on then. Yeah. Right. She went, we went to Burger King and, it was really hot that day and Tylee and I didn't have shoes on. So we had to go buy flip-flops at Walgreens because we ran out of the house without our shoes. I hope that Lori burned her feet a little bit that day. It was very hot. She probably made Tylee run in first to get the flip-flops for her. My husband, you know, Charles, that husband. Like she had to throw out that husband's name. She misses everything. She could have asked her to respond in a simple yes or no to the question about Charles being on dating sites. Oh yeah, Lori let Lori get in the way of Lori of actually being a lawyer. Charles tried so hard to get them to listen and get Lori help. It's sad. I know. That was awful. Oh, that's a good point too. Maybe they had blood on them. And because wasn't there, now this is coming back to me, wasn't there something about that day that they dumped some trash at Summer's husband's dumpster at his office? Where do I know this from? Was it rumors? Was it ever said? There's some video or there was some evidence that she went and threw something away in this dumpster. Why is this coming back to me right now? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I always took the hubby's statement seriously too because of my own childhood domestic violence at home. Some officers will side only with the female. Very true. But yeah, when you've lived in that environment or something, it's going to ring a little bit of a bell. Like, okay, wait a minute. There's two sides to the story, and the other side might actually be adequate or correct. Yeah, she definitely waited. Why did Tylee have to run out of the house? Well, apparently, according to Lori, she told Tylee to go make sure that JJ, because JJ was left in a running car. You did hear from that from Crusha? Okay. Yeah. There's something, she threw away some trash that day. I don't know if it ever really, really came out. I'll have to dig that up. And, okay, this was what I said last night. Why is she, okay, think about it, jury. She was saying he had to be murdered because he wasn't Charles, because he was Hiplos, Ned, Nate, Nick, whatever. So why now is she saying that the guy that Nancy Jo went on this date with was Charles, when supposedly Lori in her delusional state thinks Charles was gone and there was no Charles. Charles was gone. It was Nate. There was no Charles. But now it's like, you dated my husband? Did you know he wasn't getting divorced? Did you know there was no divorce? Do you always date married men? Do you like to date married men as they're married men? You know he was a married man. You know that there was no divorce. So, come on, Lori. Pick your lane. Was he Ned, Nick, Hiplos, not Charles, or was he Charles? Because if he was Charles and you killed him, then case closed, lady. If you're a delusional brain, right? Right. So I hope that somehow, I mean, how can they bring that back up? But they have to. Ned wasn't married and okay to date then, right? We don't know nothing about Ned. Nate, no, not Ned. Well, yeah, Ned Schneider. Iplos with an eight. The H is silent. Do you like to date married men? Right? So Charles wasn't cheating then. It was Ned. Why is Lori all pissed off about Ned? She wanted Ned gone so Charles could be released into the afterworld and be peaceful again. Just a lazy gamer said he fails. Lori will blame the shooting on Tylee. She asked about gunshot residue testing and wasn't it? Absolutely. That's what I think she's going with that, asking everybody about the relationship with Charles. She's going to say that her poor little brother Alex took the fall for nasty teenager Tylee, because Tylee and Charles had a terrible relationship and they had to go to counseling. Like, she's brought this up all the time. Lori also told people that Charles was 6 inches shorter. That's fine. Oh my God. Yeah. Lori, you like to off men for money. Lori, you like to cheat. Lori. She projects everything onto other people that she did. Everything. She's the cheater. Now Nancy Joe's the cheating with a married man. Like, ugh. She's, this is, I want to bet money on how long the jury deliberates. I'm going to say less than 30 minutes. Unless there's somebody on there that's very anal, like really organized, really detail oriented, somebody like that, then it might be long. But I don't see more than, it'll be done the same day. She's going to be found guilty. And then she's going to be mad. I can't wait to hear her closing statements too, or arguments. You think 1 hour and 30 minutes? Less than 2 hours. Yeah. I say 30 minutes to an hour max. You say an hour and 30 minutes. So we shall see. Hi, Nina Robinson. Yeah. All right. I'm hungry. It's 12:15 here. I got to go get some things done and pay my bills and all that stuff on Saturday. So you know what? I got to figure out how to do those polls on here. I know I have Nightbot and there's a way to do it. I need to figure that one out. I haven't had time to figure that one out, and I need to do that because we need a poll. I can do it on the community page though too. Let's place bets on your bingo card. All right, everybody. Thank you. It's so nice to have a Saturday live again with all of you. I do appreciate you all. Nice meeting you too, Jolene, everybody. Thank you. We will be back. We'll do, we got some new members. You guys won some memberships today. Friday, I'll be back this week as many nights as I can. My biggest day that's hard to come on is on Wednesday nights because I'm always working overtime. When you're a hospice case manager nurse, you have to do a report on all your patients. And our A through L one week. Oops, that's a bruise. A through L 1 week, and then the other side of the alphabet the other week. Well, we just did the shorter side of the alphabet, which is not the A through L. And so I have so many patients, so I have to write up these reports on them. And then on Thursdays, we have a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning where we have to talk about all the patients. So Wednesdays, I go see my patients and I got all this crap going on, and then I have to write these reports. So I'm always working overtime on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays, if I'm done, I'm not going to post Wednesday before because I won't know. But if I'm done on Wednesday, we'll do a live stream Wednesday. But we'll do one Monday and Tuesday for sure after court. Okay. And can't wait. I can't wait to see what else is coming out of Lori's mouth. Yes, they did say that it's going to start at 10 o'clock. Now, remember, we still have a 30-minute delay. So, but yeah, they said they're going to Monday and Tuesday. I think they're starting early. All right, guys. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you all. Stay safe and stay well. You can see my other channel. I have another channel. If you're interested in travel, my travel vlog is called Beyond the Empty Nest. It's Catherine J. Brooks. Beyond the Empty Nest. It is all my trips to Greece with my friends. There's vlogs, there's information, there's travel tips, and my experiencing Greece through my eyes. All right. I will see you soon. Stay safe and stay well. Bye.